Good morning, everyone. Today, I would like to explain to you a simple process of communication. You know, communication is sending of information, messages, or anything which we want to convey to others through a process of verbal or non-verbal things. Now, in this process of communication, there are two major elements. One is the sender who sends the message, and one other one is the receiver who receives the message. From sender to receiver, the message goes through lots of phases. Now, the process of communication which we deal every day involves most of these phases. The first part of that is whenever a sender sends a message, that is encoded, that is whatever we want to send a message or whatever is the message which we want to send, that first we will try to encode that into our own words or in the form of letters or in the form of visuals. That will be sent through a medium. Either it can be a written medium or it can be through oral medium also we can send the message. And now whatever the message we send, that reaches the receiver. But before going to the receiver, the entire message is decoded. That means whatever is the frame through which we have encoded the message, the same thing will be decoded again at the receiver and he receives the information. Now, in order to pass on the correct information, the decoding process has to suffice with both the ends. That is, the way we encode the message should be the same as the receiver decodes it. Otherwise, the message which we send may not be understood by the receiver. Now, if the receiver receives the message and he understands it properly, then he certainly will convey his, again what you call his conveyance or his acceptance of the message or his feedback of the message again to us. Now again here what happens is the process gets reversed. That means the receiver again becomes the sender here. Again he encodes the message and he senses it in the form of a feedback. Now that feedback, we receive it, we again decode it, and we again understand the message. So this is a process or a cycle of messages which we continuously perform to understand or to go on with a conversation. So in this, there are a lot of other things are also involved. For example, if I am sending a message, if the encoding and the decoding doesn't match, then the message is not conveyed to the receiver. And whatever the barriers or whatever the disturbances that occur between the encoding and the decoding, we call that as a name of the noise. Noise are all those barriers which come in between the sender and the receiver, which create a sort of physical or psychological barriers so that the sender's message may not have a proper impact or proper understanding with the receiver. This noise can be either a fan sound or a cell phone beep or your thoughts or some disturbance from outside. So all this encapsulated into the term called as the noise. So if the noise is more, what should we do? Normally the message may not reach the receiver. If even though it may reach the receiver, it may not have the same understanding or the same feedback what we expected. So in order to have a perfect and 100% compliance of your message, you have to repeat the message again. So this process of repeating the message again so that the receiver understands it perfectly is called as redundancy. So redundancy is a concept of a repetition of the message so that the message reaches the receiver in a proper format and with a proper understanding. So these are some of the concepts which are involved in the process of communication.